Minnesota, and our old bus was going up a hill, and the bus just died. Stopped right on the highway, snowing like a big storm blizzard going on. And Carl, our drummer, got frostbite sitting on the bus. We'd sit there with no heat, you know, and it was cold. It was 25 below zero. And that was actual temperature. That was before they had the cold chill factor, you know. So finally a sheriff's deputy came along and took Carl into the hospital, and they come back out and rescued all of us, and we went in. We got down to Green Bay, and Buddy tried to charter a plane. They said, no, we can't fly out of this weather. So we froze again the next day going over to Clear Lake, and we got there, and he chartered a plane for him and Waylon and me. And Waylon gave up his seat to the Big Bopper, Waylon Jennings. Y'all have heard of him. And he was, Big Bopper was ailing. He had the flu. And that night, Buddy played the drums behind Richie, and the night before, too. And Richie would play drums behind Buddy. And you'd never see that. You know, you're not going to see George Strait playing drums for him, you know, one of the big stars of today. But they actually did that for each other. But he was coming up and on stage a lot that night, and he'd come by me and say, hey, guy, you want to let me have your seat? Because he'd heard that Waylon had given the Big Bopper his seat. And I kept telling him, no, 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 and probably 3 or 4 times. I don't tell this story too much. But so I get ready to go to the plane, and I get on the bus, and got a little bag, and I put all my dirty white shirts in it. We'd been out a couple of weeks, and didn't have any laundry, and it was starting to stink, you know. And walked to the station wagon that's parked right behind the surf ballroom. And I put my little bag in the back seat. I scooted in there, and the Big Bopper was sitting over there. Buddy was up in the front seat with the driver, a man named Anderson, who managed the dance hall there, where we surf ballroom. And Buddy said, Tommy, go back in there and check and make sure we got everything, because he was concerned about Carl's drums. Because in them days, they had not even invented the word roadie back then, you know. So you carried your own stuff around, which I still do, by the way. Come out here and Pete helps me and Mike. So I go back in there, and Richie's standing in the doorway. There's a little dressing room at the side of the stage. The little door goes out into the ballroom, and he's standing there doing an autograph, and he said, hey, guy, I said, you gonna let me go? And for some reason, I just reached in my pocket and pulled out a 50-cent piece, and flipped it and said, call it. He said, heads. So I let heads, and I said, you win it. So he was excited about it, you know. And people said, well, we've heard he's scared to fly. I said, no, you know, nothing was ever said about him being scared to fly, you know. He was wanting to fly over there. So I go back out to the car, and I told Buddy, I said, Buddy, I'm not going to be going with you. He said, why? I said, I flipped the coin with Richie, and he won, and he's going to go. And he said, that's cool. And I said, but would you go to the post office? My mother had sent me a letter, and back in them days, you could send something general delivery. You know, some of you might remember that, general delivery. You could go to the post office and go up to the window and pick it up. And he said, well, give me some ID. So I pulled out my billfold wallet and searching around in there for a fishing license or a driver's license or something. He said, just give me your wallet. So he took my wallet and just stuck it inside of his coat pocket. Well, when they found the plane crash the next morning, they found 4 bodies, but they found 5 wallets, 5 identifications. So on some of the early news, it said I could have been a possibility to have been on the plane because they found my wallet with my ID in it. And so the guy that owned the plane came out there and said, no, Tommy wasn't on the plane, and told him who was actually on the plane. But they kept my wallet at the sheriff's department up there until 1977. I didn't get it back. Now, there's a guy named John Goldrosen who was writing a book called The Buddy Holly Story. And he had been in Nashville one day. I was recording. I was playing with Kenny Rogers on a record, and he came to the studio and interviewed me after the session was over. And then he went on up to Clear Lake and was talking to the sheriff up there, and the man that owned the surf ballroom. And he said, I was going through these drawers, and there was Tommy's wallet. And I asked the sheriff, said, how come you hadn't sent this back to Tommy? And they said, well, we lost his address, you know, when we could release it. So I'm doing a session, I'm doing an album with Don McLean. You know, he wrote The Day the Music Died. So Don McLean was doing a tribute. Now, listen to this is really weird. He was doing a tribute album. In fact, you're the first people I've told this story to. Don McLean was doing a tribute album to Buddy Holly. And with that morning session, we had recorded 3 sides, 3 songs. So we're on a 1 o'clock till 2 o'clock lunch break. And I go to the PO there in Nashville, check my post office box, and there's this little box, a little package with my wallet in it. So I go back out to the studio after I ate a lunch, and the Jordanaires were standing around, the background singers, and Gordon Stoker was one of the Jordanaires. I said, Gordon, look at this. And I had the little box in him. He said, I said, this is my wallet that Buddy Holly had in his pocket when he went down on the plane. And of course they looked at him, you know, touched him. And about that time, Don McLean walked in. And Gordon Stoker said, Don, come here, and called him over and handed him that wallet. He said, what's this? You know, he said, that's Tommy's wallet that Buddy Holly had in his coat pocket when the plane crashed. And Don McLean turned as white as your sneakers right there. I swear, this is truth. And he walked outside, and he came back in. He was gone about an hour. And he came back in, and he said, we're going to do some original songs. We're not doing any more Buddy Holly songs. Now, that was in 77. I see him first time I go back to the Surf to play was in 1994. And Don McLean was there. And I had never met him at that time until then. And he said, Tommy, he said, I've been having these weird nightmares about you. And I said, what's that, Don? He said, I had these weird nightmares about, I found your wallet and was holding it up and I handed it to you. That Buddy had on it in his pocket. And I said, no. I said, that's not the way it goes. I said, Gordon Stoker handed you the wallet that day we were doing that album in Nashville. He said, oh my God. He said, for years, you know, he said, this has followed me around for years. He says, don't tell anybody about this. I said, Don, I'm going to tell it every time I tell a story. I'm going to tell it, you know. I told it overseas a couple of times, but it's kind of a weird story, you know. You know, the truth is stranger than fiction. Well, let me play you hymn, and we got to get out of here. Any particular hymn you want to hear?
Yeah.
Take a snapshot of it.
They're pretty.
How great there are.